Like 90% of the things y'all say I want to just say. Obviously, we've been the most oppressed in the world. I believe the Bible talks about he only come back with his children, Israel. I don't believe that all the Israel is just African American. We don't know. Isaiah 11:11. Okay, well, right along with you. Yeah. Okay, let me finish though. Also, salvation is just a little word. It's coming to save, coming to deliver. There's an earthly deliverance, which mostly I see y'all talking about. But what I'm talking about is eternal. And the place where the Bible talks about revelation, heaven is like down on earth, he'll make a new heaven and a new earth. This is the real salvation that Jesus came and died on the cross about. Not just for the feeding, like this down here is to me really, I really honestly believe that black people will overcome. I said they can't, but I don't believe it. None of us is right with God. That's why they're moving over. So in the beginning, like when Abraham had Isaac, Isaac had Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons and Joseph. But before Abraham told him he was going to happen in the land and take it out. That's what they went right for, boy. You got to take over. Anytime they're not right, you can dominate them. So the salvation of these Jesus came and died and also is eternal, living forever. But the Bible tells we don't have new bodies. This is like 1 Corinthians 15. It's not these fleshly bodies. So yes, he might do have salvation for us on earth against white people. Salvation comes from about it's eternal. So this is like right? Everlasting life. Eternal life. Okay, right.
Everything you're saying is right. We're gonna fill in the gaps. Everything you say is right, but we're gonna fill in the timeline for you. That's what you're saying is right. That's part of us building. Like if you are people gonna build with you because you right on what you say, because we're still giving you the correct timeline.
But I know this out.
No. I don't.
God gave you 2 years to reach.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's what we expect about you. We appreciate that.
This first word, Matthew 15:24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And so when you said that Christ came for basically everybody to save everybody in a sense, right? Christ didn't say he was only sent for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's it.
Okay. So I want y'all to finish. I have a response to that, but go ahead.
No, but watch this.
Go ahead.
Revelation chapter 21 and verse 12.
You gotta think about it. You're asking about kingdom of heaven, immortality, all of that stuff. So,
Okay. Bring it out. Book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 12.
Bring it out.
And Adam was great and high.
Breaking high.
And had 12 gates. And at the gates 12 angels. And names written thereon.
And names written thereon, which are what?
Which are the names of the 12 tribes.
The names of the 12 tribes of what?
Of the children of Israel.
So if we are going to be saved, why would God have to name the 12 tribes on the gates of heaven and the children of Israel? Oh, you said earlier, you don't see that we can overcome this.
There's 12 gates to the city. 24 angels. Talk about the 24.
I'm not saying I don't think but that's talking about is the kingdom of heaven coming down to earth. Where first we're gonna be 1,000-year reign, and then we're gonna live forever. Where we got immortal bodies.
No. That's no. That's what I was talking about the timeline. Because when that kingdom come down, that's coming down with it. Right? Hold on. I got you. Hold on. Hold on.
I just said 12 angels. 12 gates. Why you say only 12 angels?
Because the 12 angels are used as security guard for each gate.
24
that's because the 24 elders. That's the elders.
24 elders.
Don't worry about it.
Look at the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse number 1. Right? And I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
A new heaven and a new earth. Let me get 2 Peter 15.
For the first heaven and the first earth.
For the first heaven and the first earth, that means like rulership, right? This earth right now and it's gonna time with America. Watch this, you know. Passed away, passed away. So how is the first earth and the first heaven gonna pass away? Second Peter 3 verse I think it's 15. Once we give you the timelines and the gap, because you're right. When you talk about with the end with the immortality, no, you're right. But I'm gonna show you the stuff that's gonna lead up to that. Right? Remember I told you with the movie The New World? With the white man? You gotta see it, kid. That's what it's called. The white man gonna lose his power, and he's not gonna be trying to give it up either. Right? He's gonna snatch it out of him. Second Peter 3 verse 10.
This is the book of 2 Peter, chapter 3, and verse number 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away.
No, hold on. How the heavens gonna pass away?
That's rulership.
Right? It said the day of the Lord don't come like a thief in the night, and the heavens gonna pass away. Read on.
With a great noise.
How is the heaven gonna pass away with a great noise? What's gonna happen? Read on.
And the elements shall burn with fervent heat.
How is the elements gonna burn? What is coming here that's gonna make this heaven pass away? Read on.
The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burnt up.
How is it gonna be burned up? How is it gonna pass away? Read on.
Seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and goodly?
That's a threat. That's a threat. Why is the Lord saying the heaven gonna pass away? Gonna melt with fervent heat. Things gonna be dissolved. What's going on? Malachi 4 verse 1. Do you know what the Lord about to do? Bro, what the Lord about to do to this place, before we get that celestial body, immortality, all this stuff, we gotta get a lick. For us to live, to see the destruction of the devil. Let's bring it up.
Malachi chapter 4 and verse number 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven.
Hold on. The same thing is gonna burn like an oven? You know?
And all the proud.
And all the what?
And all the proud.
Proud in the white. You know?
Yeah, and all that do wicked.
And all that do wicked. Who's more wicked than the white man? You know?
Shall be stumbled.
Shall be what?
Shall be stumbled.
Like the fire, the ass, the fire that's left, you know?
And the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts. And it shall leave them neither root nor branch.
So what is going to happen to America? So when I was telling you earlier, I'm building this capital. The Lord is going to bring nuclear thermal missiles to this place. That's what it means by the first heaven going to pass away. Yes, America's going to pass away with nuclear fire. That's what's coming first. And while that's coming, look, Lord is going to
Fucking be your house. Be your house shut. Be your house shut. Be your house. Be your house. Be your house shut. Be your house shut. Be your house. Be your house. Be your house shut. Be your house shut. Pull yourself. Calm yourself. Pull yourself. Calm yourself. Pull yourself. Calm yourself. Like that. We got that. We got that. We got that. Follow. 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 What we gonna do? What we gonna do? Take the key. Now. Show me my shot, y'all. Show me my shot, y'all. Show me my shot, y'all. Whoop yourself.
Khan, all praises, the mighty men of HOI Chicago, bringing it out. The timeline of the destruction of America. We can see it. You can see it. Everybody can see it. Even if they don't know what it is, they know something's going on. Slakia. They know something's going on, right? And I mean, you know, you got to be under a rock not to see it, but, you know, the brother was bringing out that he thinks everybody can be saved. Does everybody need saving right now? That's the question. You tell me, does everybody need saving right now? Or are some people really going through it that need saving? Yeah, Khan. Ain't everybody, all right? So, the mighty men of HOI Chicago, if you are not subscribed to their channel, do so. Brothers in Blood, HOI Chicago, Kwame Yashala, we got next. All right, so all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to our elders, paving the way, putting in the work, waking up the masses in these last days. Kwame Yashala, Rise Israel, okay, to so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are, according to the Bible, the real Jews, okay? And it makes sense now, everybody's looking like, why are those Jews bombing those Palestinians back to the Stone Age? And then when they stand in line to get some food or flour, they bomb them like this is God's chosen people? No, that's why you gotta read the Bible. Revelation 2:9 calls them. Can I even say it? I don't even know if I can say it without getting flagged, and you know what I mean? Like you gotta understand. I think it's Voltaire or something like that made a quote said, "You want to find out who rules over you? Who can't you verbally assault or something like that? I don't know. It wasn't verbally assault, but who can't you talk about? I mean, you could go on any rap song and talk about shooting Jake left and right. This nigga got my face, so then I hit him with the tool, sprayed him like mace. You know what I mean? And they're like, that'll play on the radio over and over. You say anything about Amalek, so-called Jewish man, they'll knock you right off of social media. So they don't need saving. That's one thing. They don't need saving. They're doing fine. They're doing fine. But the Bible calls them the synagogue of Satan. Let's continue on. All right. So this lesson is called A Change is Gonna Come. You know, uh we can see it every week, you know what I mean? Last week, um, took a flight to Jamaica, Ariel, who was bringing it out right there, and his lovely wife got married, you know what I mean? His rib got married, and it was an amazing time. You know, Jamaica's beautiful. You know what I mean? Someplace I would definitely like to stay, coming back home was like, ugh. But anyway, a great time. And thing about Hebrew marriage and Hebrew weddings is just beautiful because these two people are coming together in righteousness. They know who they are. They know the plan. They know what the Most High has in store for them. Well, as far as the scriptures go, you know what I mean? One, two people becoming one flesh. And, the Most High has a lot in store for them, you know what I mean, as future goes on. So it's a beautiful time, you know what I mean? Hebrew weddings are amazing. Amazing. Okay, so and I couldn't do last Wednesday, so I got in late. But now that we're here, let's talk about it. Donald J. Trump, yeah, he's he's erasing black people, you know what I'm saying, as far as the museum goes. And we have to see it for what it is. You have to. You gotta pay attention. Look what he did. He went all around the gamblet, right? Um, I of course he started off with immigrants, right? Started off with people, the worst of the worst, the most violent, the most ruthless, murderers and rapists and this, that, and the third. Got to get them out of our countries. People like, yeah. Uh, trannies can't have them in a bathroom with a member of the opposite sex. Like men that think they're women can't go into a bathroom with a 7-year-old. Everybody's like, yeah, that's cool. But then it started trickling down. Like, hold up, you're arresting people that aren't committing crimes, but that were just here, overstayed their visa or look Hispanic. And people like, I don't know if that's a good idea. That seems to go against what America was built upon, even though, of course, we know America was built upon racism, segregation, oppression, and violence, robbery, murder, rape, all that stuff. But the principles, what they wrote down, like every man's created equal and we should be able to do this, that, and the third. And then all of a sudden, it started trickling away. But even like someone like Tariq Nasheed's like, yeah, okay, he seems to have his opinion on immigrants, you know what I mean? Especially really the ones that are coming at Jake. Let's get that together. I don't think he hates Jamaicans and Haitians and all that are, get along with what you call foundational Black Americans. I never heard him really come at them, but it's usually responding to somebody made a post about how lazy and violent and oversexed Black men are, or Black people in general, or this, that, and the third. But not really going to war, going to bat for 10 tribes that are getting deported out of the country. Now it's coming to us. We have nowhere to go. You know what I'm saying? They're not there's places in Africa, I think they said it will take people that have no place to go. So probably gonna get shipped back to Africa or prisons or guillotine. What's it called? Um, you know, executed by firing squad. You know what I mean? But we've arrived. We've arrived. So ICE agents have detained a black man in Texas, or attempted to. We called his lawyer. He actually works for Homeland Security and FEMA, so they probably realized, all right, let's leave this guy alone. But that doesn't mean they ain't doing it to everybody else. So now you have Donald Trump, the federales, they went into LA, right, during the protests or whatever, the ICE protest. And now they're in DC, but they're in DC. There's no protest in DC. It's just DC doing what DC does. You know, violent acts have dropped in DC, but it doesn't matter the agenda still goes on. He's going to get us out of here. He's going to at least try. That's what I'm saying. He's going to try to get us out of here. So he goes up to people that are maybe drinking beer on their steps, which is perfectly legal. DC has plenty of open air restaurants where people, Esau just sitting there sipping away at their wine and whatever. Don't bother them, but he comes to the hood, smoking a cigarette. What's that? If it's weed, which is legal pretty much in every state at this point, whether it be medicinal or recreational. It's I believe in Philly, you got to have an ounce or above, you know what I mean, to go to jail for marijuana, right? And you can have a medical card, so cops usually don't bother you, to my understanding. But if they want to, you know, uh, if they want to bother you, they'll use that, and that's what they're doing now. They're doing that to Jake, and Jake is, I want to say he's fighting back, he's yelling back, and putting them on the internet, because it'd be like 30, 40 of them would pile up, but I think it's only a matter of time for, they bring the guns out, on both sides. I think actually the federales shot up somebody. I don't think it was in DC. I'm not sure, but it's only a matter of time for this thing to just get stupid, and that's what they wanted to happen. But let's talk about the museums. They're playing the long ball. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, our people live for the weekend. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do this Friday, we're gonna do this Saturday. They're thinking when Barron Trump is an adult, you know what I mean? When his children are there, what's going to be? So they're thinking about when you go into the museum, you don't want to feel threatened that, you were a terrible person. You come from a line of terrible people that enslaved people for centuries. And the plan was never for us to get free. You know what I mean? But the Most High had plans. That's one thing they fail to realize. Okay. We're going to start with Psalms chapter 5 and verse 8.
You want me to read for you?
Khan, King, Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Shabakatah.
Yabashim Yashab. Barakatah. You said Psalm what?
5 verse 8.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 5 and verse 8. When you have say Khan.
Khan.
Lead me, O Lord, in thy righteousness, because of mine enemies. Make thy way straight before my face.
Khan, go ahead.
For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wicked. Their throat is an open sepulchre.
Sepulcher.
Mm-hmm. They flatter with their tongue.
Khan. So, dealing with Esau, these other nations, you know what I mean? Internally, they're very wicked. Okay. And if we can look at it objectively, let's step out, let's look around. Okay. Right now, Donald Trump has issued a statement. He's going to audit the Smithsonian. We're going to watch the video on that in a moment. He's going to audit the Smithsonian. Anything that makes him feel uncomfortable, he's not going to. That's not history now. You know what I'm saying? He talks about the future, like watching this and going to the museum. Let's talk about the future, nigga. It's a museum. A museum talks about things that happened in the past, and he's saying that slavery. We're always talking about the bad part of slavery. So obviously, in his mind, there's good in slavery. You know what I mean? So we're gonna watch what he's doing now, and then we're gonna backtrack to what is somebody that was a owner of slaves said at the time, and you got to see it's no change, you know, unless and Esau will not come out and protest this. Esau will protest that men that dress up as women can't go into a woman's restroom. That's what they care about. When they say all lives matter, they're like, yeah, Black lives matter, all lives matter, trans lives matter. That's their number one thing. They just strategically put that at the end. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to give it all away, That's the only reason I'm out here protesting. So right now, nobody cares that your history, your excellence, not even the excellence, that happened a few months ago, taking the Black excellence out of the museum. Now he's trying to erase slavery. Okay. So 100 years from now, Lord, oh my goodness, God forbid we're all still here. But say, time 50 years from now, whatever, and you look at, who's the downtrodden, who's in the ghettos, who's struggling. Oh, they must be born like that. And it'll just seep in that, obviously we can't learn, we can't do anything right, we can't hold down a job, we can't do this. But without leaving out the big part of centuries of oppression and violence and subjugation that happened to us here in America. They want to erase all that. Okay. Internally is wicked, man. It's a wicked group of people. Go ahead, can you read verse 10?
Verse 10. Destroy thou them, O God, let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee.
So we asked the Most High to destroy them because it's kind of obvious that they're not changing. You know what I'm saying? They don't aim to change. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, all right, we need to do better with this whole racism thing. It's fine. You know what I mean? If he knocks down the whole Smithsonian um Black History, museum, I'm sure people will sleep good at night because you can't forget that, everybody's thinking, oh, we're gonna have a first Black female president, and you see Esau like, yeah, come on, Kamala, da da da. They went right into that booth. It was like Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? Like, for the world, it's like, yeah, I'm not racist. I love all people, but in reality, behind closed doors, you can't hide who you are. You know what I mean? You can't put a pig in a dress. It's still a pig. I haven't seen any evidence of change here in America, and more than likely, it's not going to happen anytime soon until Yahweh Shemel Shai changes it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. A change is going to come. We don't need it from Esau, the so-called white man. We need this change from Yahweh Shemel Shai, our heavenly Father. So,
President Trump's latest target.
Oh, okay, so let's talk about what's going on and what the Most High is doing to alleviate the problem, if you will. Okay, so first let me say Fair Use Act. Fair Use Act. This video is protected by the Fair Use Act. This is for educational purposes only, thus being protected by the Fair Use Act. Let's get it. Oh, I like that. Hold on, Salakia. Read the. So Ohio, it's legal, yet they're still pulling people over for weed. I wonder who those people are. You know what I mean? Very crafty, very crafty. And also, he wants to erase our history but wouldn't dare erase the Holocaust. What are we still talking about the Holocaust? I mean, 6 million Jews. Were there 6 million people in Germany? I mean, really? But the question is, yeah, will he erase the Holocaust? Mm, I like that. I like that. And Shalom, everybody that's on. Shalom, King. Shalom, sis. All right, let's start it up.
President Trump's latest target tonight, the arts, specifically the Smithsonian and other museums across the country. Tonight, the president referred to museums as woke and even ordered his attorneys to conduct a review of Smithsonian museums, calling their portrayal of U.S. history too negative.
Negative. Okay, and also woke. You know, how white people steal stuff. He stole the word woke and try to make it in just being about you know, allowing women to play in men's sports and stuff like that. They don't have no idea what the word means, but they continue to use it. It's just the American way. It's the way Edomites live. But how is a museum woke when it talks about history? Like, dude is really a psychopath. You look at the picture, he looks like somebody that has bodies under his belt. You know what I mean? Let's continue.
President Trump posted on his social media platform, Truth Social, tonight, quote, "The Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Nothing about success, nothing about brightness, nothing about the future."
It's a museum. It doesn't talk about the future. It talks about the past. That's how dumb he is. But he's the president of the United States, right? The king of the Edomites right now.
For some, that post is stirring up pain and disappointment tonight. In particular, the line about how bad slavery was has hit a raw nerve. News Force Jackie Benson spoke with a group battling for decades to preserve a cemetery believed to contain the remains of hundreds of enslaved people and free people in Bethesda.
That someone, says something like that, is downright offensive. And to a great extent, I think it's evil.
Dr. Shagun Adebayo is pastor of the Macedonia Baptist Church on River Road in Bethesda, part of a once thriving Black community there. The road's name goes back to its 19th century purpose to bring tobacco to the Potomac River for transport from plantations. Dr. Marsha Coleman Adebayo, president of the Bethesda African Cemetery Coalition, says that is the link to the enslaved people, many of them children who were buried here. The Montgomery County Housing Opportunities Commission, which owns the land, has said in court that all the remains have been removed.
BACC actually visited that warehouse over the weekend where we prayed and we poured libation to the children whose lives were who never were able to live their lives.
It's the subject of an emotional, long-running legal battle for what the plaintiffs believe will bring peace and dignity to their ancestors. To hear the President of the United States refer to the Smithsonian's presentation of America's history as focusing too much on, quote, how bad slavery was, is almost too much to bear. So
let's get First Maccabees chapter 3 and verse 48. She's saying like pouring libation. Now, apparently she's married to the pastor who seems to be a Hamite. Whatever libations they're pouring, I don't think they're pouring out a little liquor. You know what I mean? Like Jake pour out a drink or whatever. And they actually talk about the scriptures in that, but probably on some, if I would guess, probably on like witchcraft type time. So we can see that, you know, these things are going to continue to happen until we get it together. You know what I mean? And stop following after strange customs and you know, whatever libations they pouring out or whatever they doing. I don't know if the Most High would approve of that. You know what I mean? But let's bring that out. First Maccabees chapter 3, verse 48, Salakia.
This is the book of First Maccabees. You said chapter what?
3, verse 48.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, and verse 38.
48.
Salakia, 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images.
So this isn't anything new. Okay, taking our accomplishments and then putting them at the forefront that they did this and they did that. And then on the flip side, the things that they've done wickedly, which is a lot, minimizing that to the point where now they're taking out in museums and saying we did nothing wrong. You know, we were innocent in this. What did we do? You know what I mean? Um, This is Esau. Let's keep going.
Marsha Coleman out of Bio.
It's very painful. And I think a lot of trauma because the United States has spent a lot of time covering up the history.
In Bethesda, Jackie Benson, News 4.
What was life like in those early?
Matter of fact, we're going to keep going. Matter of fact, let's go to Esther 3 verse 5. All right, we're going to keep going with the video. Matter of fact, hold Esther 3 and go to Zechariah 11 verse 5. And we'll come back to Esther.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 11, verse 5. When you have it, say, Khan.
Khan.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich. And their own shepherds pity them not.
Khan. So, you know what I mean? Like 400 plus years of just subjugation and slavery and violence and oppression and rape and murder and, you know what I mean? Blatant aggravated assaults and whips and chains and all this. And then they say, nah, I ain't do nothing wrong. Nah, take that out the museum. Move that. Don't want anybody see that. It makes us look bad. What they talk about, the critical race theory. They didn't want their children to see the things that how they got what they got. I think they worked really hard and put on their bootstraps and, put on their hard hat and went to work every day. They had that on, what's that? It was Henry Louis Gates. He looked up their genealogy and you had, Ben Affleck and all these celebrities on there. They're like, so what do you think your ancestors did? Oh, my ancestor invented the folding chair. My ancestor invented the coffee mug. And they all the stuff that their parents told them, their grandparents told them, and passed them down to generations. And then come to find out, like, nah, they owned slaves. No, they were slave masters. They beaten. They had 17 slaves. They had 5 slaves. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. Because they like to put on this false sense of righteousness, but it's not the case. All right, let's go to Esther. Esther chapter 3 and verse 5.
And this is the book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse 5. Hold on, let me get it. When you have it, say Khan.
Khan.
And when Haman saw that Mordecai, Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath.
Khan, go ahead.
And the thought scorned to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had shewed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus,
Mhm.
Even the people of Mordecai.
So Mordecai not paying Ammon no mind, and he was full of wrath. You know what I mean? It's like Esau can't be ignored. You know what I mean? He's so mentally weak that he needs attention 24 hours a day. That's why, like, you know, Donald Trump is a perfect example of that. He has to tweet, he has to be the number one trending topic. Like he lives off of the spotlight. You know what I mean? And for somebody to ignore him, you know, that's why he's so upset. Like he'll start a war with like Philadelphia because none of the Eagles went to, you know, see him at the White House, or like some Eagles said, you know, we're not going to see you. I got better stuff to do. He'll start a war with the whole city because of that. You know what I mean? So it's the same energy, it's the same spirit, it's the same vibe that they dish out from then to now. No change. I haven't seen a change come with them. You know, so if they're ignored, or if they're, you know, feel like they're slighted in any way, you know, then they'll just result to homicide. Okay. Let's get Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 33. But let's watch this video. So this is her family owned slaves. She says slaves grandchildren are not as happy. So the slaves are extra happy with them. Like they don't understand what they're doing wrong, why it's a problem. This is a good thing. We're we're giving you guys you know, benefits and everything. And this is how they honestly think. So check out the interviewer. He's not, nah, you wrong or whatever. He's just asking questions, getting the information out there.
Okay. As far as the colored people were concerned, I feel that they were a good bit happier than they are now. They had less in the way of material things. But I can remember back in their 20s, and I was a small boy, they were always singing at their work. They had a great sense of humor. Now today, they just don't seem to care much about that as they used to. And I think they've lost their sense of somewhat, which I deplore.
What do you think are the differences between the races?
I think there's a refusal to accept responsibility. I think there's a lack of motivation. I've tried here to promote people to foremen, superintendents, but they just refuse to do it. They just don't want the responsibility. They don't worry like the white man. If they have troubles, they go to sleep and wake up the next morning, and that trouble is over.
Is it possible that white people have something to do with the lack of ability for blacks to assimilate into this culture?
Absolutely. White man has certainly been prejudiced and to quite an extent unfair. But customs die awful hard. It takes a long time, and everyone knew years ago that the Negro would have to be given equality. But in the South, knowing Negroes as we think we do, we realize it would take time. It's been compared to straightening teeth. It takes a slow, steady pressure. You can't do it with a hammer.
And they've been saying that for a long time. Let's bring that out in Jeremiah 50, verse 33.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 33. When you have it, say, come.
Khan.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Khan. So he's like, oh, we can't do this. You know, we really can't have them assimilate. We can't have them working in our jobs. We can't have them living in our neighborhoods. We can't have them, not yet. I mean, it will eventually in time, but it's just kicking the can down the road, man. It's huge manipulation tactic. You know, eventually this is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. Like a man will say to his mistress, "I'm gonna leave my wife. I'm gonna leave my wife soon. Yeah, you know, maybe a couple months. You know, just give me a year. You know what I mean? Just with no intention of actually doing it. It's the same situation, the same level of manipulation and abuse. But of course, on a grander scale, that it's not just one, it seems to be all of them, you know? And the ones that are quiet, they know what's going on, but they refuse to do anything about it. So that makes them just as guilty. Let's go to Zechariah 1, verse 15. We can watch the rest of this.
And white people's attitudes will change in time. I'm a lot more liberal than I was 5 years ago, and I know I'll be a lot more liberal 5 years from now, and I think almost everyone else is in that category.
What has tended to make you more liberal?
A realization that the Negro is a human being like anyone else.
Mr. Hasty, what did you think we were before you began to think of us as human beings?
Well, in a way, we thought of you almost as a very superior pet. Something, or rather someone, we had to take care of because we had to do so much of their thinking for them. We had to do almost everything for them that except living their own lives. Anything outside, we had to do for them.
So Daisy was my little playmate, my maid, my friend, and the daughter of old Catherine, who was the cook that we adored. And so all those years, we played together, and everyone was happy. We never heard of all these things that we hear about today. And there were nearly 100 enormous rice plantations with many animals around and a beautiful old house and about 100 colored people there. But we loved them, they were our friends. And then it's no disgrace to say they're like children. When we say that, it's because they are like happy children, some of them. Because they like to sit in the sun and rather than work hard. And they'd rather play than work.
Now, what type of work do you think she did in her entire life? You like to sit in the sun instead of work hard in a rice plantation. Do you know what I'm saying? Like her mentality, like look at them catching their breath. Look at them sitting down for taking a 15-minute break. Do you know what I'm saying? She hadn't done a lick of work in her entire life, but the mentality doesn't change. Do you know what I'm saying? And you can look at it from in 2025, not only with Trump, we keep saying Trump, but millions of people voted for Trump. Millions of people are following Trump. You know, they're not mad at Trump for anything that he's done other than not release the Epstein list. Oh, get these hardworking immigrants out of our country so all our food prices can go up more. You know, landscaping, all the things that Issachar does, you know, for pennies on the dollar, get them out of here. They're not going to work. Let's see how many Edomites are going to be out there working from sun up to sundown doing landscaping or picking strawberries. It's not going to happen. So the mentality we see does not change. Okay. And we're just what we're looking at. A change is going to come, but they're not the ones to do it. They're nowhere near close to where they should be, you know, as I don't want to say human being, but you know what I mean? As a person living on this planet, you know, their mentality is nowhere near where it should be. It's been stuck in slave times in this video and beyond. You know what I'm saying? We just read in Esther, you know, just because you don't bow down to him, he's ready to kill everybody. That's that's what you call a psychopath. All right, let's continue.
If you could, would you paint a picture for us of what it was like on the plantation in your early days?
It was a lovely, happy time living in open spaces with many lovely colored people and animals and flowers and fields. My father had everything thoroughbred, from the pigs, horses, the dogs, and the people had to be thoroughbred. We would get into a buggy with him and drive to the plantation from what we call the pine land where we lived. We would spend every Saturday, this was, we would spend the day in Fortune Casino. He would give us dinner and we would have a heavenly time. And all April, he was the dairyman. That's all he did. All he did was to skim the cream over these great big bowls of clabber and put them in the wooden churn and churn this marvelous fresh butter. That was April's job. He didn't do anything else but love us and skim the cream.
She is having a good old time. Let's get Zechariah 1, verse 15.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 1, and verse, you say 15?
Con.
And I am, when you have it, say con.
Con.
And I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
Con. So the heathen that's at ease, right? She's, oh, they used to turn the butter. You know, we used to go to the plantation. It was what a nice like the man said, yeah, they're like pets. They're like called like superior pets. Like, oh, we had pets, we had men, you know, they were all thoroughbred. My dad got everybody that was thoroughbred. It was thoroughbred horses, people. Like, hold up, you just calling people thoroughbreds? So, they help further the affliction. They don't stop, right? So, what's going to happen as a result? Let's get Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 14, but let's get a glimpse into the future. Let's bring that out. Isaiah chapter 1 and verse, I'm sorry, Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 1.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, and verse 1. When you have it, say con.
Con.
For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
Con. Go ahead.
And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Con. Okay. So let's continue to watch this.
One is well seasoned and trained. I haven't a need for a bed wench. Bed wenches are not for needs. They've always been for wants. What I need is a strong albino to work the fields. Good, strong, obedient. Obedient? Well, they're all obedient. A man of your means could take the entire lot. Do I get a deal if I buy in bulk? But of course.
Lord, the sun don't care who it burns.
Ain't that the first? There's a place beyond sweet and cool.
There better be shade and some new fresh pair of shoes.
I love this plantation. Master is so handsome, and the house is so beautiful too, and the gardens. Child, you gonna stink of onions, thinking I'll never leave you. You gonna go to sleep in it. You gonna wake up in it. Ain't Lambert's hair so pretty? Sure is.
If you pick onions as fast as you talk, you'd be all right.
Don't worry, Jesus is gonna come and set this world right. With all the problems like slaves running away and all these bugs. I can't wait to see Jesus' heavenly black face. He like white world and eyes a flame of fire. He like brown. His face is sunshine. Girl, you look up at that sun, you're gonna go blind.
He coming back, and when he do, he taking us all home. Amen.
Today we gather under the.
Of course, we know that's not true. But that is going to be. That's in the Old Testament. Oh, that's the Old Testament. I don't read the Old Testament. But did it happen yet? Exactly. Okay. So that is future prophecy. Read in Revelation, that if you put somebody in slavery, you get enslaved. As a matter of fact, well, let's just bring that out. Let's go to Revelation chapter 13 and verse 10. So the revealing. Okay, so this is the New Testament. They say that's the Old Testament. That's way back in the day. Jesus, God ain't the same no more. Well, let's read in Revelation chapter 13 and verse 10.
And this is the book of Revelation 13 and 10 when you got to say, Khan. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints.
We're patiently waiting, and we have faith that this will happen and will occur, okay? Because we believe in the scriptures, and these prophecies aren't, it's not in vain, okay? The word is not in vain. They all are going to come to pass, okay? So let's continue on. Let's get Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 13. So, why would you say that though? Dude, we're all humans. We all bleed the same blood. I'm saying? We breathe air. Why would you be so mean to say something like that? That's the word of God. Okay. Now, do we need any examples of why this needs to happen? I got some. Okay. Hold that. Ecclesiastes 7 and 13, and we're just going to get to the next video of what occurred in America. I don't know when it happened, probably a couple of days ago, but it just hit the airwaves because it's on video. If it's not on video, it doesn't exist, right? You can have eyewitness account, very detailed, graphic details, but it's it doesn't get anybody moving it a certain way. I don't know what happened. Maybe he was doing something he ain't no business doing. I'm not sure. You start making excuses for the killers. But when it's on video, you can see it for yourself.
All right, peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. All praises due to the Most High. In another episode of the Audacity of Whiteness. This man right here, Gregory Tim, shot a handicapped Black military veteran who's confined to a wheelchair as he sat in a public place playing a tambourine.
He's playing a tambourine. He is in a wheelchair. Esau shoots him. He's going to explain why it was the alleged stolen valor. He's not, in the armed forces. You know what I mean? This is what Esau says. This is Esau's words, right? So how do you fix that? I'm saying, how do you fix something like that? How many centuries got to go by for you realize, this is who they are, man. Ain't nothing you can do about that. You know what I mean? Bring that out, King. Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 13.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 13. When you got to say con.
Con.
Consider the work of God, for who can make that straight, which he hath made crooked?
God made them crooked. God made them this way. You're, what's her name? Lady Gaga, I was born this way. They were born this way. You can't pray over it. It's like praying over a leg of ham on Easter, thinking that it's gonna. First of all, it's a made up holiday that God didn't say celebrate, and you're eating something that He said never eat. Don't even touch it. So you can't change that. You cannot the molecular structure of a ham hock. You can't change it. You cannot change the mentality and the deviance of the so-called white man. He's a killer. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Once we realize that, then life will be a lot easier. And you understand that the Most High God is the only one that can change them. And how is He changing them? By destroying them. Okay, let's get John chapter 8 and verse 44.
Yeah, that's right. This guy, Gregory Timms, walked up to him and demanded to see his proof that he was a veteran. And after the man didn't show him proof, he snatched the military patch off. The black brother, pulled out a knife on him. And then this cowardly Neanderthal pulls out a gun and shoots the handicapped man in the chest. I can't make this up. Take a look at this video, and I'll be right back with a little more information about this suspect. Fair use. This video was used for commentary and educational purposes only.
Camera new video this morning showing the moments before and after a shooting along the Seattle waterfront. Take a look here. This happened on July 31st around 4 p.m. Seattle police say the suspect, 32-year-old Gregory Tim, is charged with first-degree assault. They said that Tim approached the victim and grabbed a military patch from him. The victim accused Tim of stolen valor and pulled out a knife. And that's when police say Tim grabbed a gun and shot the victim in the chest.
All right, everybody.
The victim was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Tim is in jail on $750,000 bail. He's expected back in court next Monday, August 18th.
And you hear this man after shooting our dear brother talking about, it's all right, everybody. It's all right. Show me your ID. Show me your ID. Now, this is the audacity of white people here in America. After taking a man, demanding to see the man's ID, taking his military patch, then when he pulls a knife, and then they said he pulled one of those air guns out on the man, and when the man saw that, well, not the man, the criminal, the thug, the Neanderthal, the barbarian, whatever you want to call him, the man then pulled out a gun on him and then shoots him. And then he's going to say, you pull a gun on me, you'll pull a gun on me, after he started this. Now, luckily, our dear brother survived, and I'm going to play another news article where you can hear him himself describe what happened in that incident. And once again, this is used in fair use.
Well, the victim, his name is Harold Powell Sr. He's still recovering after being shot in the chest, and video captures the moment an encounter on the waterfront turns violent. Harold Powell Sr. proudly wears his military hat and displays this on his wall.
Well, it means everything to me. That's where I am. I was in the United States Navy submarine service for 14 years, and I transferred out.
Powell performs regularly along Seattle's busy waterfront, positioning himself next to a sign that highlights his military service as he entertains tourists.
I play different tamarines with different songs.
But an encounter on July 31st quickly turned violent. Powell describes the events that led to this moment.
I was getting ready to leave, and a gentleman walked up to me and says, how long are you going to be here? I said, I said, I'm wrapping up. I said, why? He says, because you're a fake veteran. So I said, no, I'm a veteran, man.
Powell says he reached into his bag to retrieve proof.
I says, no, I got ID. Grab my belongings.
Police say Gregory Tim ripped off a military patch.
So he took my stuff away. And when people was like, hey, okay, so I was trying to take my stuff. So I had a knife, so I took my knife out.
Witnesses say Tim did not back down, and Powell took out what was later identified as a holstered airsoft gun. Tim then pulled a gun from his own backpack and shot Powell in the chest.
I've been shot point blank with a 45. I'm dead.
Police and paramedics rushing in took Tim into custody and Powell to the hospital.
I said, I can't survive this. That's what I thought.
But he did. After more than a week in the hospital, he's home and not focusing on the violence that almost cost him his life.
I'm living. Keep on living. You're living.
For that, he's thankful.
Oh, what a day, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful I'm here.
Because of the shooting, Powell is unable to work right now. His family has started an online fundraiser to help him with his recovery. Joyce?
And has the suspect been charged in this case yet, Natalie?
Yes, charged with assault, and prosecutors say Gregory Tim cannot say it was self-defense because police believe he's the one that started this confrontation. His next court date is set for Monday. Joyce?
All right. Shout out to my man, Mr. Powell, who didn't break down. You see him run up on that guy, and he was trying to get out of his wheelchair, actually. He was trying to get out of the wheelchair and put a couple of sticks in the homeboy. Well, not the homeboy, the barbarian, the Neanderthal. Now, it's cowardly of Gregory Tim. It's cowardly. This is the cowardly nature of those people to pick at a handicapped man, snatch his stuff, and then run away. And even when my brother has the knife out, he knows he can't really get to him, so he keeps standing back. So now Harris, okay, I can't touch you with this knife, but I'm gonna put something in you with this little air gun, and that's when the cowardly man pulls out a gun and shoots him. Like I said, point blank range with 45. Once again, my man survived that assault. But this speaks to, once again, a different nature. Imagine veterans back in the days. It almost takes me back to there where they couldn't come back home to enjoy life after they've served their country, and they still had to go in the back doors and be second-class citizens. And here it is, this young man who probably never served a day and actually has a criminal record, which I'm going to play for you next. He is able to attack this man, and they're only charging him with assault. Where is the attempted murder charges? Where is the throw the book at him charges, assault on an elderly? Like, why don't y'all line these charges up to match with that senseless violence, saying, okay, well, he can't be charged with self-defense because he started the fight? Of course, we should all know that. But let's take a deeper dive into this guy's history, and you're going to see, once again, the unmitigated audacity of whiteness that he's going to show even in this prior instance. Now, mind you, they said he didn't have a criminal record, but another news reporter dug deep and pulled up this proof of this danger to society that has been allowed to run the streets, as they say about the people in Cincinnati. These thugs this thug should have never been out of jail. And why is the legal system allowing these thugs like him to run the streets? Check this out.
Yeah, Greg, Seattle police said they did not find any prior convictions on this man's record, but I learned that the suspect was convicted for a crime in 2020 that caught the attention of the president. The busy Alaskan Way boardwalk was buzzing with tourists Thursday.
It was very scary.
When a single act of violence,
I hear a pop,
shattered an otherwise peaceful day.
people running. There was a lot of people running.
And put Savannah Aljo in the center of a crime scene. Court documents say an elderly man in a wheelchair wearing a military patch was asking for money. The prosecutors say 32-year-old Gregory Tim confronted him and ripped his patch off, demanding he prove his veteran status. They say the victim pulled out a large knife then a holstered airsoft gun before Tim shot him in the chest.
And then there was the old man in the wheelchair. The old man had gotten shot.
He was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Tim is now being held in jail on $750,000 bail.
If you're the one who's the first aggressor who provokes an altercation, you lose the right to claim self-defense effectively under state law.
In 2021, Tim was convicted of criminal mischief in Florida after ramming his van into a tent full of Trump supporters. No injuries there, though the volunteers were shaken up. President Trump even reacted to it, writing, quote, "Be careful, tough guys, who you play with." Tim explained his motive in court.
He felt it was almost my duty to say something. Why do you think it was your duty? I thought it was somebody's duty. Because the only reason that this administration was getting away with these atrocious crimes is because we were rolling over a table. So how far are they going to push the American public?
Now that he's facing an assault trial in Washington, can that be used in court? It depends.
And if we do find something, we'll make sure to bring it up before the court.
But if it was vacated, we won't find it.
Exactly, right. If it's vacated, it won't be found because it's no longer considered a conviction.
Tim's conviction in Florida was for a misdemeanor in the second degree. For the shooting here in Seattle, he's being charged with a felony. Reporting live at the waterfront, I'm Maddie White, King 5 News.
All right, so here you have this career criminal. Matter of fact, this cross-country criminal. He committed one criminal act in Florida. Now he's over here in Seattle shooting a veteran, a handicapped veteran, a amputee, a man who's just out playing the tambourine, entertaining the public, and this guy comes up, shoots him in broad daylight in front of a lot of people and telling the people, oh, it's okay, I got everything under control. No.
Let's bring that out in John chapter 8 and verse 44.
This is the book of John, chapter 8 and verse 44. When you have it, say,
Con.
Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do.
Slovakia. So he feels it's his duty. It's his duty to try to run people over in they're under a tent. It's his duty to walk up to somebody and assault them by taking off their valor. And then saying, hey, show me some ID and everything. It's his duty. This is the lust of the devil. He feels obligated to do these things. Now, if America was just as it says it is, then he would have been charged as with a felony. And instead of let him go in Florida, trying to hit people with his car, and he wouldn't be able to have a firearm. He should be arrested for carrying a concealed weapon. Let's continue. Go ahead.
He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
Somebody, like the police will shoot you and tell you to stop resisting. They'll yelling out, stop resisting, as they're punching you in the face, and you're just trying to cover up. You know what I mean? This guy's not even a cop. All praise to the Most High, Mr. Powell survived. But like you look at George Zimmerman, somebody that's not a cop, but feels empowered and feels the need and the necessity to afflict pain and torment and oppression on Jake. Of course he wouldn't have did that to some Edomite veteran, because he was seeing him as, oh, hey, what's going on, brother? But he sees Jake in there, like, no way he could have fought in a war, could have served his country. But we looking at, and that's one due to the history, right, that Trump's trying to get rid of. Tuskegee Airmen, Buffalo Soldiers. He's trying to get rid of all these things of how powerful we are as warriors and soldiers.
Salak,
Even though it's still available, they still not figuring these things out. Go ahead, King.
wasn't Zimmerman a Spanish dude?
No, no. His father was German. His mother had like some Latin
Okay.
lineage, but no, he wasn't Spanish. All right, let's continue on.
You are the danger. It's sort of like the Daniel Penny situation all over again. We're going to see if they will allow this Neanderthal thug, unmelanated animal to use the self-defense law. If he does, then once again, this is just another example of the system of white supremacy in which we live in. But these people, as the scripture speaks of, are of fierce countenance, and they have been sent against us. As my brother from the tribe of Judah told me the other day, because we as the people of God failed to do what he needs us to do and follow his commandments. He has given us power over these things. 2 Chronicles 7:14 says, my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves in faith, seek my face, turn from thy wicked ways. Then he will hear from heaven and heal thy land. So I told my brother I would interject that in another one of these situations where it seems like these people are our perpetual enemy. No matter if we have served this country in valor, we have people who are going to come and demand to see the proof. It's sort of like, you know, the slaves in the freedom papers. Let me see your ID to prove you're a veteran and you can wear this hat. And have the audacity, the unmitigated white people audacity to snatch the man's pouch off and then shoot him when he pulls out a knife in defense of his property. So this is what we have here in America. This happened July 31st, 2025, in the year of our Lord. Not 1967, not 1697. 2 weeks ago. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this video in the comments.
All right. Awesome video. Commentary video about the Taylor House. All right. Let's continue on. As you can see, when you steal and then shoot a man in a wheelchair, there's hardly anything you can do to change that. That doesn't change. That didn't become like that. Well, born like that. You know what I mean? I say you can't become like that overnight, but as we can see, the history speaks for itself. Okay. Let's continue on. Let's go to another one. Amalek and them. See what they're into. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus, chapter 13 and verse 21. And you hold that, Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, chapter 13, verse 21. And we're going to check out the next video. Netanyahu's deputy, I believe, was arrested for being a perv. You know what I mean? So when you look at, hold on. When you look at the Epstein files, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we don't have any. They weren't trafficking that children to anybody. Epstein, he did all that himself. Maxwell, she's in jail for trafficking tens of thousands of children to nobody. You know what I mean? Because there's no reports on it. We can't find anything. We had it on our desk. Now we lost it. With Pam Bondi say that? I have it on my desk right now. And then 2 months later, nah, we ain't got nothing. You know what I mean? As we see, they're still very active in their pedophile ring. But of course, they get to go home. Imagine that. Let's get this.
The village crazy lady who Mel, the executive, the village crazy lady who does good work. She says the executive director of Israel's National Cyber Directorate was arrested this week in Las Vegas in a child pedo ring sting. This guy works directly under Netanyahu, so of course he was allowed to go back to Israel. And so she links this stuff. So that's the guy. And here's the story. The Nevada Internet Crimes Against Children joint operations included detectives and agents from the ICAC, task force, blah, 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 blah. Those arrested were David Wanacott Yankee and Tom Artyom Alexandrovich, 38. They all face felony charges of luring a child with a computer for sex and were booked into the Henderson Detention Center. So let me see if I can go.
Wait, those aren't Muslims. I thought only the Muslims.
So that's him, executive director of Israel National Cyber Directorate, building national cyber. So he got caught up in a pedo thing in Las Vegas.
Wow, who saw that coming?
Who saw that coming? Let's see. Here's the story. Las Vegas, an undercover operation targeting child sex predators in the Las Vegas Valley over 2 weeks resulted in the arrest of 8 individuals, according to a release from the Las Vegas Metro. And there his name is. Isn't that something? So this first guy, David Wanacott Yankee, treasurer of Imperial Royal Sovereign Court of the Desert. What?
Yeah.
What is that?
That looks like a NGO, actually.
Yeah, right? Southern Nevada Baptist Association.
Oh, look, they're all in on it together, all the different groups.
Lead pastor Neil Creasy.
Yeah, not surprising.
Gender Diverse and Trans Pride Center of the Gender Diverse and Trans Pride. Okay, I don't know what this. Oh, David Wanacott Yankee worked there. The registered agent on file for this company, the Gender Diverse and Trans Pride Center of Southern Nevada. So that's the first guy, David Wanacott Yankee. Also, but they're not mentioning the guy, the big guy. Oh, Pastor Neil H. Creasy has been in gospel ministry for 28 years. He has served as a pastor, international missionary, church planter, missionary consultant, conference speaker, and seminary professor around the world. He holds an MDiv and a PhD from Mid-America Baptist Theological Seminary.
Yeah, and I bet Christian Zionists, Schofield Bible believing dispensationalist, heretic, CIA, psyop, scumbag. All that weird evangelical Christianity used to hear about, that is all CIA, Christian Zionist bullshit, and it goes back a long way.
U.S. detains worker from Israel's top cyber defense agency for questioning. Prime Minister's office says incident resolved quickly. Really? Ending with a brief questioning of National Cyber Directorate staffer before his release and return to Israel.
It was a misunderstanding.
Pedophiles back to Israel.
So this was a misunderstanding, Kurt. That's all this was, right?
Let's get that. Ecclesiasticus chapter 13 and verse 21.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 13 and verse 21. When you have it, say, Khan.
Khan.
A rich man beginning to fall is held up of his friends, but a poor man being down is thrust away by his friends.
Khan. So he's fallen. He's caught in a trap, and not a trap, but a sting, right, of pedophiles, and he gets to go home. Nothing to see here. He was just brought in for questioning. That's all he say. The Vegas police say he was arrested. Let's continue.
Yeah,
possibly. So the news people say it's possibly he pulled the diplomatic immunity card.
I wonder if they did that. I wonder how they got out of this one.
Wow. Briefly detained.
Yeah.
So they have impunity, just like they can slaughter people in Gaza, right, on camera with impunity. They can do whatever they want with the children in America, and their punishment is they get sent back to Israel.
Them those Zionist Israelis, and the same reason priests molest kids is the same reason. You're automatically bad and lower than them just for being born. And then
let's get that in Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Ecclesiastes chapter 7, and we're going to get verse 15.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 15, when you got to say Khan.
Khan.
All things have I seen in the days of my vanity. There is a just man that perisheth in his righteousness, and there is a wicked man that prolongeth his life in his wickedness.
Khan. You know, and this is what, you know, Solomon was saying, that, you know, these people keep on going. It's not like you know, can get arrested like normal people, right? Go to jail like normal people. Doing something that's completely abnormal can't be allowed in society, but you can go back to Israel because, you know, they welcome things like that. Okay, let's get Hebrews chapter 12 and verse 16, and we're going to finish this out.
that's probably why the Pope wears the yarmulke.
Okay. Kurt's on fire today.
I really am.
So that's quite a story.
I
That's
can see why you guys are banned from TikTok.
that's a real. So you can see why we're banned from TikTok.
I've never gone on it.
I've never been.
You've never been.
I do not have TikTok app on my phone. People send me TikTok videos. I can't watch them.
Well, they're trying to.
I can watch Instagram for some reason. I can watch Instagram, but I can watch Facebook videos. But I never go on Instagram, and I almost never go on Facebook.
Oh, Jimmy, I handed in first draft of your part of the script.
Oh, really?
I made it like, yeah, it's gonna be pretty funny.
All right, I will dye my hair if needed. I will dye my hair, but I can't. I
You look
can't
like
do.
you had plastic surgery.
I can't do any scenes with my shirt off. Can't do that. Right. So I have to have clothes on.
I don't know what Esau's talking about. All right, now they going off. So, of course, this isn't just talking about Amalek, it's talking about Esau, period. So let's bring that out. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 16.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 12 and verse 16, when you got to say Khan.
Khan.
Lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright.
There's nobody more profane than Esau. You know what I'm saying? They take the cake, so to speak, in that. So, and then they have people that get him out of that. You know, that's why, boom, Epstein gets locked up, and all of a sudden he just is unalived. You know, they can't find the footage of. They said, "Oh, it's a minute missing," and it was one of the most highly secure places, supposedly, right, in America. This federal prison, right? And I worked in corrections and security and everything. There's no such thing as a minute missing. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it just skipped and looped because that's why. No. These things are this is technology. All right. We're in 2025. There's no camera that just stops. You got a Ring camera that could go throughout 24 hours, but you got a camera that's in a highly secure federal facility that stops for a minute. But then they come to find out it was more than a minute. It was 3 minutes. You know, Wired.com, Wired magazine, they can tell you if anything's doctored or whatever. And they're like, yeah, it's doctored. Okay. So they unalived him. They had his black book, all the people that were in it. Then all of a sudden it's gone, it's missing. These people are really sexual deviants. And one thing you got to understand about sexual crimes, which they say there's no cure for that. You know what I'm saying? If somebody is just, that's why they put them on Megan's Law, Megan's List, and you got to find out where they live and you know, their job and what car they drive and you know what I mean? All that, because they're going to reoffend. You know what I'm saying? There's a high probability of people that commit those type of crimes to reoffend. So here this guy is, they finally get him. Nah, we're just questioning him. You can go back to Israel and go to some other country and do it. You know what I mean? Just don't come to US and do it. Go to Thailand or one of those Asian countries where they all go anyway. So had he saved that? I don't think it's possible. Okay. Matter of fact, scripture said it's not possible. Let's go to Psalm chapter 37 and verse 12. So what is the answer? What is the change going to come? How is this change going to manifest itself? Death. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And this is what God says. So if God says, I'm going to go with God. Okay? And you can see how this is manifesting, how it's going. We're going to play a couple videos to see what the Most High is doing. Let's bring that out. Psalm chapter 37 and verse 12.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 12. When you have it, say, Con. The wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth.
Go ahead.
The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming.
So, not for nothing, Esau has been lied to and in the echo chamber so much of God doesn't exist. It's a spaghetti monster in the sky. You know, oh, you don't know, you don't understand science. Science is a big deal. See what happened was a microcosm, everything exploded. It was nothing, right? And it exploded and made everything. And then all of a sudden there were seahorses, right? Because seahorses can have babies by themselves. And then it became an alligator, and then a bird, and then a giraffe, and then it wanted to be a wolf. And then people came out. So in their mind, it's like God doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? Some of them, we all know the higher ups, the higher elites, if you will, they understand what's going on. But for your low level Edomite, like everybody else that's in that nation of people, they have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? So they think they can do whatever they want and there will be no consequences. God is laughing at them because he sees their day coming. So what is the Most High doing? A lot. Okay. And that's why we have these Wednesday wake up calls. So we just understand what the Most High God is doing. All right. Fear not. The Lord take care of things.
Now, research by the charity set up following the death of 14-year-old Molly Russell has revealed the extent to which extreme and self-harm content has been fed to young people on social media. Molly's father has told Sky News the new measures to protect teens online don't go far enough. Tamara Cohen has this report for us, and a warning: the story contains themes that people might find distressing.
It's been 8 years since the death of Molly Russell, whose exposure to harmful content online put the spotlight on social media companies. Now, research by the charity her father set up in her name suggests what teenagers are watching is worse than ever. The Molly Rose Foundation commissioned a review of hundreds of TikTok and Instagram videos, personally recommended to the online account created of a 15-year-old girl. Ian Russell says despite what was meant to be a watershed moment, teenagers who have searched for harmful material end up being bombarded on a huge scale.
It is horrifying, a harmful situation that led in a more than minimal way to the death of my daughter in 2017, nearly 8 years ago, has got worse rather than better. If you've strayed into the rabbit hole of harmful suicide, self-injury content, the platforms, in particular TikTok and Instagram, will recommend to you algorithmically, they'll recommend more and more of that content.
Despite promises by tech companies and the government, it's worse than 2 years ago.
The world, our world, is taking too long to react. It took nearly 5 years to get the Online Safety Act through Parliament. This isn't the right pace of change to keep up with the lightning fast pace of tech. Action has to come from the government. It has to come from Keir Starmer himself.
And some people will feel that maybe there isn't a technical solution to this, that the internet is so vast, maybe there isn't a way for the social media platforms to stop it.
It's pretty clear the social media platforms don't want to stop this, but it's possible to do something about it. It's possible to save young lives, and the tech platforms are choosing not to.
Almost all the posts recommended for the teenage user were judged to be harmful. 55% of those on TikTok and 44% on Instagram was said to contain references to suicide and self-harm. Some had been liked over 1 million times. The data was gathered earlier this year, before tech companies had to comply with new online safety codes for children from July. A TikTok spokesperson told us these findings don't reflect the real experience of people on their platform, and their teen accounts have more than 50 safety features. Meta, which owns Instagram, said they disagree with the assertions of this report and the methodology behind it. They said their teen accounts offer inbuilt protections, limiting who can contact them, what they see, and the time they spend on Instagram. Both TikTok and Meta told us they proactively remove 99% of violent and self-harm content before it's reported. The government told us new measures would protect users from the most harmful content, which they said had devastated young lives. For campaigners, taming the algorithms can't come too soon. Tamara Cohen, Sky News.
All right, let's continue on. Let's read the next verse. Was that verse 14?
The wicked have drawn out the sword and have bit their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation.
So, started off with what Donald Trump is doing, taking pretty much erasing our history, you know what I'm saying, through museums. What he's doing in DC, we talked about that last week, or the week before that, rather. Going in DC and starting up martial law and just going in black neighborhoods and just bothering people for no reason, trying to get any type of arrest. Violent crime is down, so they're trying to fill up these jails, these private institutions. Because once violent crime is down, it's like, well, we got beds that are open, and the state has to pay for those beds from to the private institutions. They need like 80, 90%, those beds being filled. If not, it's going to cost the state. So they're like, we'll arrest you for anything. Fare evasion, public intoxication, disorderly conduct, resisting arrest. Weren't resisting before, you know what I mean? The arrest is like, yo, leave me alone. Resisting arrest. You know what I'm saying? So these things that they're doing to us, drawing out the sword, what's the Most High going to do with them? Can we read verse 15? All right, can we read verse 15?
Salakia. This is verse 15. Their sword shall enter into their own heart. Their bows shall be broken.
So their weapon, the warfare is going to be broken, and what they're using against us is going to enter into them. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 22. So the things that they're doing to us is happening to them. They fed our children to alligators. You know what I mean? They lynched our women, cut open the belly, and then stomped on the baby that came out of her and seen who would die first, the baby or the woman that's hanging from the tree. And they took pictures and made them postcards and sent them to their friends. So doing things like this, I think that will get the attention of the Most High God, right? Because he's a just God. And the things that they're doing is falling back on them. Now it's happening to their children. Now they're in the echo chamber of self-harm, and the other word, which I don't want to say because algorithms, but you know what I'm talking about, unaliving themselves. That's one reason they don't like the critical race theory, is bringing out earlier. They don't like the critical race theory because it puts them on stage. This is what you've done. You weren't working hard. You weren't putting on your hard hat and going to the steel, to the coal mines and doing all this. You enslaved a group of people, killed them, used them, you know what I mean? Worked them to death. That's the reality of what happened here in America. What continues to happen, because through the 13th Amendment, people that are locked up, they will get a cell extraction if they don't work. If they have to go do, build a desk for JCPenney's or Macy's, or someplace in Walmart, or they have to go actually to the fields and literally pick cotton or pick some type of fruit, vegetables, or whatever, for some corporation that subsidizes and pays the state for that labor, then they're going to have to get out of that cell, or they'll get put in like solitary confinement. Bad things will happen if they don't work. So slavery still does exist. Okay. But God has an answer for all this. Okay, let's bring that out. Isaiah 14 and verse 22.
This is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 22 when you have it say, "Come."
Come.
For I will rise up against them, said the Lord of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant and son and nephew, saith the Lord.
So that whole bloodline has to go because it's wicked. Okay? Can't live in society with normal people that want to just raise their family and maybe take a vacation every now and then, like just do normal stuff. It's not the same. All these major high-end, high-profile serial killers, 50, 60 bodies. Ted Bundy said, I think he got caught with 20 people, 20 unalive 20 people. And when they were taking him to the chair, the chamber, or whatever, they said, was it more than 20? He said, yeah, add a zero. So that's 20 that they know of. You know what I mean? That's Esau, man. He's a prolific killer. A change has to come. He cannot be here. He cannot walk amongst normal people. Okay? And that's what the scriptures are saying. All right, let's go to let me see. Let me go to Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 11. So that was the youth. Now that everybody has TikTok and Instagram, they're always on the phone, this, that, and the third. Apparently, it's destroying them. You know what I'm saying? And that's all praise to the Most High. Okay, because just like what Nat Turner said, he said, unalive everybody in the house. They came out, they're sweating blood on them and everything. And when he got outside, Nat heard a baby crying. He said, hold on, I said unalive everybody in the house. He said, but that's a baby. He said, that baby's going to grow up to be just like them. Now, was Nat Turner lying? Okay, because that's in the 1800s. Did anything change from the 1800s till now? Okay. So exactly. And what they do, they try to get us before we're even born. That's why they put all the Planned Parenthoods and abortion clinics in our neighborhoods. And then people will send money. You know what I'm saying? Here's $10,000 to the abortions in the ghettos in Philadelphia, to the ghettos in Chicago, to the ghettos in LA. Here's $10,000. So if a mother comes in like, I can't afford it, like, oh well, you know what? We have a sponsor that will help you get rid of the problem that you have. What did Margaret Sanger say? We don't want the word to get out that we want to exterminate Black people. Too late, Margaret. All right. We can read. All right. So now we got Most High destroying their children. Now he's also destroying the entire family. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 3, verse 11.
This is the book of Isaiah chapter 3 and verse 11 when you have it say, "Come." Woe unto the wicked. It shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him.
Destruction unto the wicked. Okay. Let's get Psalm 109 and verse 12 on deck. And let's see what happens one day in the quiet part of town. It never happens around here. Well, it did.
Investigators in New Hampshire have now identified the man, woman, and 2 children who appear to have died in a murder-suicide. They were found in a home in the town of Madbury yesterday. A toddler in that house was the only survivor. WBZ's Louisa Moeller is live in Madbury with what we have learned today. Louisa?
Well, Lisa, first of all, neighbors tell me this is the kind of neighborhood where you have kids toddling along, learning how to ride their bike right in the middle of the street. Just last week, this family had a lemonade stand here. This is a gut punch. Now, investigators say they have talked to people, quote, up and down the seacoast to look into what happened here. It appears to be a murder-suicide.
Not sure we could have done anything different, right?
Neighbors on the Harriman Drive went to bed in shock and woke up with questions. As crime scene tape wrapped around a nearby home and detectives walked out with evidence boxes, a place where just last week, kids ran a lemonade stand.
It's just like that kind of, I don't know, idyllic summer day, and then this, right? How does it go from that to this?
Police came to this Madbury, New Hampshire home for a 911 call Monday night and found a gut-wrenching scene. 4 members of a family dead with gunshot wounds, now identified as 48-year-old Ryan Long, his wife, 34-year-old Emily Long, and their 2 kids, 8-year-old Parker and 6-year-old Ryan. A gun nearby. A third child, a 3-year-old, was found unharmed. Investigators now looking into the possibility it was a murder-suicide.
That's based upon the physical evidence. That's also based upon some other evidence that we've learned with regards to just information that you get from doing a neighborhood canvas, trying to do some background of individuals and find out what was going on inside the home.
The impact on the people who live here is already immense. Ryan Long was a psychologist for the nearby Oyster River School District. Andy Kettle
Text messages from friends and
dolls to the family's 6-year-old.
When their daughter came by, my daughter basically gave her dolls, and those were precious times in our life when my daughter enjoyed her American Girl dolls, and so sad to think that that little girl's gone.
The family's 2 dogs now in the care of a neighborhood dog walker.
I just told a friend of mine it's the worst thing that I've ever dealt with in my life.
As the news spreads, so does the grief. Community members from the school dropped off flowers at the foot of the family's driveway.
Just to show how devastating this is for so many people.
The family's autopsies are scheduled for tomorrow, and the New Hampshire Attorney General's office says that information should shed a lot more light about what happened here. Live in Madbury, New Hampshire, Louisa.
So the dog walker said it's the worst thing I had to experience in my life. He is not going to be alone with that statement. It's going to be the worst day of a lot of people's lives soon, if it hasn't happened already. So from the children unaliving themselves on social media to the psychologist's dad who knew about the mind and the way the mind works. I'm assuming it was the father. It could be the mother, you know what I mean? I guess we'll figure that one out when the autopsies come out. But normally it's the dad. Taking out the entire family. This is the future of America. So when it says a change is going to come, this is the change. You know, the change is Esau not being here anymore. They have wore out their welcome. It's obvious who the son of perdition is. Obvious to anybody that's paying attention. Okay. Let's go to Psalm 109 and let's start at verse 12.
This is the book of Psalms 109 and verse 12. When you have it, say, Con. Let there be none to extend mercy unto him, and neither let there be any to favor his fatherless children.
This, you know, and the fatherless child, they got taken out as well. So there's no mercy. No mercy was given to us. No mercy will be given to them. It's as simple as that. Read on.
Let his posterity be cut off, and in the generation following, let their name be blotted out.
So their name is blotted out. That was a very nice house. What, a 2-car garage, a Labrador retriever, another dog. That's like the perfect what do you call the American dream? You know what I'm saying? They just came back on vacation. Of course, I did my research. You know what I'm saying? It looked like a vacation picture. You know what I mean? Everybody's smiling and having a good time. But one thing Esau doesn't understand is that the Most High will send that spirit on them. Do you understand? So they just had a lemonade stand a week ago. You know what I mean? She's playing with her daughter and giving her dolls and this, then the third. Everything's going good. And then just like that. That is going to be the fear that Esau is going to be experiencing in the future, which going to cause them to unalive themselves because they never know when something's going to happen, what is going to occur, and who's going to be the person to do it. Is it going to be the dad that brings home the bacon, pork bacon, I'm sure, in that house, that brings home the bacon, that works hard, nice house, nice neighborhood? You understand that where the police called there for domestic violence incidents, they didn't say anything about that, but just out of nowhere, snapped, woke up, destroyed everybody, except the toddler. You know what I'm saying? Now the toddler's gonna, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But no mercy will be given to the fatherless children. Go ahead, read verse 14.
Salaki, you say verse 14.
Yeah.
Let thine iniquity of his fathers be remembered with the Lord, and let not the sin of his mother be blotted out.
Read on.
Let them be before the Lord continually, that he may cut off the memory of them from the earth.
Most High going to cut off their memory. Read on.
Because that he remembered not to shew mercy, but persecuted the poor and needy man, that he might even slay the broken in heart.
So we were looking like, well, what did he do personally? If he's not for us, he's against us. And how many people are actually for us? Remember, you see like the Christians, oh, there's advocates everywhere, be an advocate for black people. Where are the advocates? I'm looking. I haven't seen one. Tim Wise, who's the other one? Can't think of her name. Whatever her name is, Jane Elliott or something like that. But what do? They make videos. You know what I'm saying? Are they on the front line, literally telling white people that this is what you should do? This was, that we're the children of Israel. None of them either. They bring out racism. That is so basic. That's like America saying, hey, there's UFOs that exist. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? If you're a white person that goes in front of audience and says racism exists, yeah, we get that. You know what I'm saying? What else you got to offer? You know what I'm saying? Nothing? All right, then, I'm sure they got paid for that town hall or they got paid for that speech. So they're actually making money off of racism, literally. Advocate? I don't think so. Go ahead, read next verse.
Let them be before the Lord continually, that he may cut off the memory of them.
Verse 17.
Oh, Salaki, as he loved cursing, so let it come into him. As he delighted, not in blessing, so let it be far from him.
You like it, we love it. You know what I'm saying? They love blood. Blood's going to follow them. As like it says in Ezekiel 35. Excellent precept. Let's go to Psalm chapter 137. 137, and we're going to read verse 7.
This is the book of Psalms 137 and verse 7. When you have it, say Khan.
Khan.
Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
It means destroy it, even to the foundation. Go ahead.
O daughter of Babylon, who art
Slaki, the daughter of Babylon. Okay, so this is who we're talking about, the so-called white man, the daughter of Babylon. Go ahead.
O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us.
So doing the things to us, gonna be happy when we give it back to you. Go ahead.
Happy shall he be that taketh the dasheth thy little taketh and dasheth, Salaki, thy little ones against the stone.
Yeah, the children gotta go. That's in the Bible. You know what I'm saying? They never read that in church, but that's what's going on. You know what I mean? That's gonna be in the kingdom where we can do it. Right now, the Most High has them doing it to themselves. Okay. Now let's get Psalm chapter 10 and verse 15. This is the last video. We're gonna talk about the chariots that are here, they're everywhere. In fact, let's start with video or pictures. Matter of fact, we'll end with the pictures, okay? But right now, let's talk about the chariots. Let's get Psalm chapter 10 and verse 15.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 10 and verse 15. When you have it, say, God.
John.
Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none.
So right now they're being seeked out. Let's look at we'll look at a picture now. Look at this. This is a massive 130-mile wide sky donut appeared over Louisiana. Shout out to the precept. Over Louisiana with no radar source at its center. What do you think caused it? Wait, there's more. Oh, wrong way. Slakia. 125-mile wide radar ring, quotes. And this is in like Indiana. See that? Gary, Indiana, South Bend. Looks like Toledo. Is that Toledo? Probably. Jackson. So that's in like the Midwest. And this is all in a couple of days. Yep, look, so Michigan and Ohio. Another one tonight, 125-mile wide radar ring spanned Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio, moving with the clouds for 25 minutes. I wonder what that is. You know what I'm talking about? That's not the last one, but we'll come back to this. Scotland, you heard what black Scottish people were going through? People like, white people were getting on TikTok like, oh, there's no racism in Scotland. Black people are like, you're a lie. BS, right? Now look what the Most High does. Painting the skies over Scotland. Letting you know, relax, I got you. I'll take care of it, okay? But we'll come back to that afterwards. Now let's look at what is going on in the skies. Can you read that one more time? Psalm chapter 10, verse 15.
This is Psalm chapter 10 and verse 15. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none.
Go ahead.
The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land.
Read on.
Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress.
All right, let's watch it.
New at 5, a mystery over Minnesota. A viewer captured this strange sight in the sky over Woodbury last night, with similar reports all across the country. So, what is it?
Where Tuesday night, a father and his son were looking through their telescope to catch the meteor showers right here in their backyard, when all of a sudden they noticed something strange appearing in the night sky over these homes.
What is that? So I essentially look up and I see this orb with a cloud around it. So I kind of took out my phone and started recording it right away.
From stargazing to stunned, leaving his telescope behind, Bassett Siddiqui caught what he believes was a UFO in the Taunton sky Tuesday.
It was kind of dropping down where that construction site is. And then from there, it kind of took a right and went this way and shot straight down.
I've seen anything like that before.
Bassett and Junaid weren't the only ones. We received videos overnight reportedly capturing a similar site in Avon, North Attleboro, and Sudbury.
I believe it. They're definitely seeing something.
On little sleep and pumping adrenaline, Bassett and his son have been researching what it could have been, but have come up empty, puzzled by the mystery orb spotted across Massachusetts Tuesday.
I honestly don't know. I really don't know. It's one of those things, once in a lifetime, right?
Wednesday, I reached out to the FAA and they wouldn't specifically tell me if they're looking into these specific cases across Massachusetts, but they do investigate similar incidents.
What does the government really know about aliens and UFOs? What's the truth about all those drone sightings over New Jersey last year? Remember that? Well, the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, just told the Pod Force One podcast that the truth may be out there. Take a look.
So do you believe that there could be aliens?
I honestly, like, my personal belief, I have my own views and opinions.
Right.
In this role, I got to be careful with what I share. I'm still going through and looking through what do we know and what is it that we don't know.
And the New Jersey, the strange objects over New Jersey were drones.
I still have a lot of questions around that.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard what the public official line is. I just personally still have a lot of questions that are unanswered.
We all have a lot of questions. Remember, in January, the White House said there was nothing nefarious about the New Jersey drone sighting. So here's the question. What's the truth? Well, we're going to ask former Pentagon UFO investigator.
Lasers captured some out-of-this-world images last night from places like here in Ohio to right here in St. Louis. We're hearing lots of questions tonight from viewers asking, exactly what was this? What did they see?
I thought it was aliens.
Around 9:30 Tuesday night, this image was captured from Hillsboro, a spiraling object in the night sky.
Oh, yeah, everybody's talking about it around here.
And a photographer in the north central part of Missouri shared these images with us. The shape looks the same. Ashley Robeson was in DeSoto when she couldn't believe her eyes.
It wasn't the moon, and it was swirling, and it was pretty bright out.
Multiple photos capturing similar images in various parts of the country have fueled a lot of speculation.
They think it's a spaceship. They think the government's putting satellites out there to track us, or just weird things like that.
Keep in mind, right, this that swirling chariot that they seen in Massachusetts is the same as the unaliving of the entire family, same section of the country. Just something to keep in mind.
That's some crazy stuff. It kind of looks like maybe a possible UFO. You never know. I mean, I ain't seen nothing like that before, so.
You said that you've seen evidence. Like, what kind of evidence have you seen?
I have seen photos. I have seen.
What have you seen photos of?
So I was in a skiff, and I can't discuss all that was in a skiff, but what I can tell you is based on the photos that I've seen, I'm very confident that there's things out there that have not been created by mankind.
It seems crazy that people have access to information that shows that there's something outside of us that is more intelligent, at least more capable than we are, and they hide it from everybody else.
Check out this video sent in to us from Rusty in Woodbury. He says he saw this strange light in the sky last night around 9:30 p.m., moving from south to north with what looked like halos of light on each side. There have been similar reports over the East Coast, even Canada, leading to speculation of meteors, weather phenomena, or, of course, the good old UFO sighting. It turns out that strange sight in the sky wasn't from the weather.
Just before 9 o'clock last night, and actually right around that time, 19 minutes before that, the Ariane 6 rocket was launched from French Guiana. That strange spiral object in the sky was simply some exhaust from one of those rockets, and neither of these launches were widely reported beforehand, so a lot of people were turning to social media and posting hundreds of pictures of the illuminated objects in the sky. And witnesses said that the lights were not flashing at the time, but as we know, it is not a UFO, just some rocket exhaust.
From French Guiana, right? So you're telling me French Guiana down there in South America can launch a satellite and see it from Massachusetts? That's a stretch, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a stretch. Let's keep going.
So many people were looking at the sky last night because of the meteor showers, which sort of got people looking.
Already out and check in with eyes to the sky. And when you see the spiral, you know, it's interesting. Of course, you want to take a picture on what's going on. You know?
Yeah, you can't help but wonder because there's so much we still are learning about space. And when you see something that you can't explain, you're like, ooh,
It's just a fuel dump.
Everybody loves a good old fuel dump. Ariane 6 or Alien 7?
Alien 7, I'm going with. Yeah, I had a picture last night come in from Tom and Chris in the Rice Lake, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It looked like an angel, the angle they had of it, which was really pretty. So now I know. Alien 7.
No. Ariane 6.
Ariane 6, okay.
Don't let me spread rumors.
No, you're right. Yeah, we don't want to start that here.
Former Pentagon UFO investigator Lou Elizondo to get to it. So, Lou, good to see you. What does Tulsi Gabbard know that we all don't know?
Well, I think it's important to note that
And before we hear what Lou has to say, see the headlines, Lou Elizondo on government saying UFOs may be real. Why it perplexes me that people are still depending on the government to tell them anything of truth. And for them to say, oh, guess what? You know, they're real. Yeah, we all know that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's what's going on, what's happening, what are they doing, what are they here for, what do they say they're here for, that they will not touch. What do they look like? They won't touch that. TikTok blew up because I think they were calling them the Anunnaki, but you know, saying that the angels are black, they're tall. It came out with the guy who wrote Norman, I can't think of his last name, but wrote the Rainmakers of Saturn, and he was saying, you know, we all know the interview that, at least we should know the interview that we're talking about, the Camelot group, where he says, not dark black, you know, that they were tall, like 7 feet, and they came out of the ship and they weren't, and there were black people. And the woman says, you mean they were dark? She said, not dark, black, you know. That went on TikTok and went viral. So there's some people that don't know these things, that never seen that interview. So you know, that kind of got a buzz going, you know what I'm saying? But the United States government's like, oh, we don't know if they're real or not, but the information is already coming out. Let's continue.
Tulsi Gabbard is a very seasoned official. She cut her teeth as a combat veteran and also formerly a field grade officer. So she's not new to the world of intelligence. And I think what she's doing is exactly her due diligence. Before she makes a public statement, she wants to make sure she speaks to all of the 16 intelligence agencies, try to remove all the stovepipes as she can, and really get to the truth of the matter. The bottom line is, look, whenever you admit to the American public that we don't have complete aerodomain awareness of our skies, we don't know what's in our skies all the time, you're also tipping your hand to your adversaries that we have vulnerabilities. So it's really a catch-22. Tulsi is in a really difficult spot because on one hand, she does have these outstanding questions like the New Jersey drone issue. We now know there was not prosaic explanations for what occurred with every one of those quote unquote drone sightings.
Do you think that it's possible that these are U.S. vehicles that are top secret?
I definitely think that there's a level of advanced technology that the U.S. government has, and I think that tech can be housed within the defense contractor realm. And of course, some information is going to be classified. But I can also tell you, and this might sound crazy, but based on our investigations and stuff that we've seen, okay, there is definitely something that I think would rival what we know currently with physics, and a tech that potentially is out there that we don't have the ability to reproduce, because it would basically be like dropping a cell phone right off back during the time of maybe caveman. So like we just don't have the tech to develop it yet. There's definitely something that I can tell you with confidence that exists that we don't know how to explain currently.
So when you say that it operates outside our understanding of physics, what specifically are you saying? Like what happened?
To I guess break it down in simple terms is that I think that some of the tech that exists, that whatever these things have, these energy things have,
Energy things? What do you mean?
well, they call them interdimensional beings. I think that they can actually operate through the time spaces that we currently have. It's really changing the way that we understand, you know, the origins of life and the spiritual reality that we know.
When you say interdimensional beings, that they know that these are interdimensional beings, how do they know that?
Based on testimony would be based on witnesses that have come forward. But what I can tell you is
witnesses just were told that they were
that they've seen things. And what I can tell you without getting into classified conversations is that there have been incidences that I believe where very credible people have reported that there have been movement outside of time and space.
That's very vague.
Yeah. So look,
unfortunately.
Yeah. Look, have I seen a portal open? No. Have I seen a spaceship? Personally, no. Have I seen evidence of this? Yes. Have I seen photo documentation of aircraft that I believe were not made by mankind? Yes. Is there historical significance to this? Yes. Is there multiple events that go back to, I would argue, maybe even before the time of Christ that have documented this in text? Yes. So do I believe that the government has access to certain technology? Yes, to an extent. And I believe that certain contractors potentially have back engineered this tech. I think that that's what can explain the advancements that we're seeing.
So back to the text from the back with the time of Christ. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And that's what we read about. Give me 1 second. I want to see this one other video, picture. And then we're going to look at these other pictures of the skies over Scotland and the UK. Okay, so this picture right here is in Serbia, right around where Russia is located, right? There's Romania, Hungary. I think something happened with Hungary too. I'm not sure. Ukraine attacked Hungary or something like that. I don't know. I didn't look at the video, but something happened with Hungary today. I'm gonna have to look into that. So take it with a grain of salt. Okay. Now Hungary, NATO, Article 5, I'm sure that would have been trending if something really bad happened, but we'll check it out. Belgrade. So look at a massive mystery ring just lit up radar over Serbia. Coincidence or signal? You tell me. Now this happened all within a few days, right? Today's the 20th. The other videos or other pictures that I put up here happened like the 18th, 19th, or whatever. So one thing that Esau will never admit, or he's going to have to figure it out sooner or later, is that they're not here to help him. They're here to help us from him. So, the woman on Joe Rogan is trying to, yeah, we know that they're real and they're interdimensional, this, that, and the third. But not breaking down that they look like us, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They're written all in the Bible. And they're here to destroy him. So this is over by Russia where they have the nuclear weapons. Another one was seen in Louisiana, Another one was seen in the Midwest. What's going on? A lot. A lot's going on. All right. So shout out to our family in the UK. This is what the sky looks like over there. Yeah. Okay. So our brothers recently had marriages with virtuous women in the UK, right? And seems like it's Scotland, right? Seems like the Most High is pleased. Look at this. Look at the sky. This is real pictures. You know, and all praise to the Most High. We have the internet that people are figuring out like, man, we're getting oppressed in every country. You know what I'm saying? And we get to talk about it, and we get to say what happened, the incidents, so forth and so on. Like the Most High is listening to us and not just giving a rainbow. It's like the clouds are turning into rainbows. The whole sky. Dan in the UK. Carl in the UK. Look at this. This isn't AI generated. This is something this is literally just happened. And it's the one from Scotland. So, all praise and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem and Mashiach Yahushai. It is going down. And look at all that has been going on in Ohio recently. Yeah. All praise to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So we see what's happening, right? This is what the Wednesday wake up calls for. That we have to sharpen up, stay focused. We understand that it is only going to get worse in Babylon. You know what I'm saying? So what we got to do is come out of her, my people, mentally, get out of this space. You know what I mean? Mentally get into the scriptures and get ready for some major fireworks to occur. Kwam Yashala, we got next. Now let's stand prostrate however you want, face the east. We're going to close out in prayer. This is the Lord's Prayer, Paleo Hebrew, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malapaka, Daba'a, Ratazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Ayah, Bashemayim, Natananawa, Lacham, Kau, Yawam, Wasalafnawa, Kabawafnawa, Kasalafnawa, Kabawafyanawa, Wala'a, Dabinawa, Banasai one, Abo, Hawashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwa, Wa'ala, Watapalarof, Lawalumyam, Aman. Book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your word that exposes the ways of the wicked. We ask for discernment to recognize evil men in our time, strength to separate from their influence, and boldness to stand for righteousness. Protect us, O Lord, from the snares of the enemy, and let us see your justice prevail. We trust in your promises knowing that the wicked shall not stand, but the righteous shall flourish. In Yahweh's name we pray. Amen. Ken Kwame Yashala. We got next. The wicked's being destroyed. Enjoy the ride. There's chariots all over in the sky. As you can see, they're getting picked up on the radar, picked up on people's phones. This is literally happening. Okay? So stay focused, get better each day, and aim for that level of perfection that when the sky cracks open, you're not scared, you're not hiding underneath the boulders and stuff. You did everything you could, you know what I mean, in your power to make it, to make your election sure. All right. And stay in prayer and watch the sparks fly. All right. So everybody on